interesting. Every now and then we pick up some wins.
It's probably you with your fucking visor up, homo.
I'm hearing it from other people.
No, you're hearing it from your own.
I'm hearing myself.
Probably.
I disagree.
I'm gonna say I'm right just because I can't prove anything, and typically I'm right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you meet the worst fucking people on.
You meet the worst people on a Honda.
The worst.
Yeah. Grandpa's riding that fucking Goldwing back there too.
Oh my God, we gotta get out of here before they start coming out of the water at me. Oh, woo! Yeah, yeah, baby. Woo! Yeah, Goldwing, get some.
Jesus Christ. Hamilton fucking miners. We gotta go.
It's that wing life. You guys wouldn't understand it.
That wing life.
That wing life.
True. It looks like we can park right here in the front, man, like we own the joint.
Hole right here.
Well, I don't know if Tron's dick will go in there.
You
but,
fucking know it will, baby. Woo! It's that wing life. Although reverse ain't working.
I love that you've named that thing Tron's dick.
The year is 1988. Reagan leaves office and America gets its first sip of Bush in the Oval Office. The Space Shuttle Discovery lifts off 2 years after the Challenger disaster grounds the space program. George Michael shook his ass for us in the Faith video, and a young circus bear would do anything in his power to make sure and be in front of a TV at 8 o'clock p.m. on Mondays to watch Alf. 1988 also happens to be the year that the Honda Motor Company released its all-new 1500 GL version of their soon-to-be legendary Goldwing touring motorcycle with a 1520cc six-cylinder boxer engine, water-cooled single overhead cam, shaft drive, manual 5-speed, 93 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, and a whopping 111 foot-pounds of torque at 4,000 RPMs. This bike would be a legend.
All right, everybody, I did a thing. It is July 2nd. We are a couple days from Independence Day. And I thought, what better way to celebrate than get a new motorcycle? Well, new to me anyway. Today, I purchased myself this sweet, sweet steed. This is a 1988 Honda Goldwing 1500 GL. I just picked it up 15 minutes ago, maybe. Did a little test drive, and all in all, it's pretty sweet. I've never ridden one of these. I think I got my inspiration from old Shade Tree Surgeon riding around on his Goldwings, and thought, God damn, those things are they're on sale, a dime a dozen lately, these old Goldwings. And what better way to spend $2,300? You heard me right? $2,300 is all it cost me for this bad boy right here. I don't know what kind of view you guys are getting right now through this camera with this windscreen in the way, but hopefully it's halfway decent. So I don't know much about these other than it's the six-cylinder 1500. I mean, it's a Honda. They're reliable from what I've gathered, and I just need something else to play on other than the Kawasaki once in a while. This thing's got, you know, the saddlebags and the trunk and everything. All the locks work, all the seals work, everything works on it. The guy said the biggest issue that he's had with this bike is that the reverse doesn't work, and these stereo controls, whatever, you know, whatever in this little fucking cluster here controls the radio, apparently doesn't work right. He's like, oh, you'd have to reach down to mess with the stereo. Well, that's real hard. It's at my crotch. It works. I don't know how good it is, but you can crank it up and hear it. It's got 80,000 miles on it, and you know, to me, on a big touring machine like this, it's built for custom touring, you know, or built for comfortable touring, I should say. You know, they built these Goldwings to be comfortable for touring. The seat is definitely comfortable. I'm not sure if this is the stock seat. I'll close this, it's a little windy. I'm not sure if it's the stock seat or an aftermarket. I'll have to take a better look at it later. Like I said, I went for a rip. The guy seemed like a nice dude. He was like 63 years old. He had bought this bike, he said, you know, a month or two ago. And he bought it because he wanted to ride around with his kid, you know, on motorcycle rides. But he said it's just a little big for him, you know. He's getting older. Like I said, he's in his 60s. He was a smaller guy. He wasn't anywhere near my size. And he wanted something smaller, so I handed him $2,300 so he can go get himself something smaller. And I took this sweet machine off his hands. And I'm about to ride it from Centralia, where I just picked it up, Centralia, Washington. I'm going to ride it back to Long Beach. We are staying with my father-in-law. He lives just north of Long Beach. And I'm going to give it a ride on this kind of rural highway and see how she does. I got my wife following behind me in the Swagger wagon, the old minivan. And I told her, you know, just keep your eyes peeled for me dead on the side of the road. And oh, hold on a second. For the bike dead on the side of the road, not the husband. I don't plan on dying today. I just want to make sure that in the very unlikely scenario that I was just ripped off purchasing this, which I don't think I was, I just want to make sure that I have somebody kind of in a chase vehicle with me right now. So this is going to be kind of a little a first ride shakedown, and you know, I'm going to ride it for a while and come up with a list of first impressions, and I'll get back to you guys with that. All right, y'all, I'm about 50 miles into the initial ride on the Goldwing. Oh, first impressions. This thing is not a Kawasaki Vulcan, which I am just so used to riding. You know, I've been riding the Kawasaki exclusively for 4 years now, and it's just a whole different animal than this. Rider triangle, I definitely need to do something about it. I feel a little squished in here. The seat's really comfortable. You know, I'm not like cramped up or anything. You know, I'm not having like any hip flexor issues or anything, being in kind of this squat position like this. But it's just not 100% ideal for the way I want to fit on this bike. So there's one thing I'm going to be a Goldwing guy. Woo! That's one thing I'm going to be looking into. The power, it's fairly smooth. I mean, it's not super herky-jerky or anything. It's not like this is the most screaming, memey friggin' bike that ever was built, but there is ample power in this 1500. It'll get up and go. It's just a whole different feel. The cruise control works. Haven't really messed with anything on this side. This is all stereo stuff, but turn signals work, everything. I don't know, I gotta give the bike a whole run through when I get it back home. But I just, there's so many little farkles and little buttons and switches and knobs and vents. I have no clue what any of it is, how any of it works. I'm just riding, so all that stuff will come later, learning what everything on this damn bike does. But all in all, pretty comfortable, pretty powerful, pretty smooth ride for something that's over 30 years old. You know, 50 miles in, I can't complain about the money I spent yet. Okay, I've ridden probably 200 miles or so on this bike since I've had it now. You know, I'm up in the Willapa Bay area in Washington State right now. We were visiting my father-in-law for the holiday, and it's actually July 5th now. I'm heading home. But I rode it around a little while I was on my little mini vacation up here, and kind of seeing some of the things that I'm liking and not liking about the bike. What I do like about it is it's just, you know, other than a little bit of weirdness with my wrists being turned in like this bike is just supremely comfortable and smooth to ride. I mean, they'll flick a little bit, you know, it'll get sporty enough to play around in the corners a little bit. I drove around, you know, maybe 50 miles yesterday with my wife on the back, and she thought it was really comfortable, which is a huge bonus right now, because part of the reason I bought it was to try to convince her to come along on some motorcycle rides with me. The Kawasaki, my Kawasaki Vulcan 900 is really, you know, it's a smaller bike. I am 300 pounds myself, and so I'm already big for that bike. So you throw another person on the back, and it's just not, the seat's not comfortable for a pillion. It's just not a passenger bike, you know, unless it's like a kid or something that you just want to drag around a little bit, you know, to have a good time. But you know, kids love riding motorcycles. If you got a motorcycle and you got kids that want to go on a ride with you, take them on a friggin' ride. They love it. Things I'm not liking, what I just talked about, was having these kind of turned in handlebars. I don't really get what Honda was thinking. I mean, they make these handlebars, they throw them on the bike, and then it's like, F you, that's it. That's what you're stuck with. The only adjustment that these things even have is to rotate forward or backwards. You know, well, like all bikes, the only adjustment is forward or backwards. But they don't really have an aftermarket for these handlebars. This angle right here is turned in so far that I feel I have to tuck my elbows in against my chest, and or like, you know, kind of hold the grips a little differently in my hands than I'm used to. It's not the most comfortable thing. I might have to I don't know, I might have to fabricate some handlebars for this thing, you know, if I can't get used to this and a little more comfortable. That part of it's kind of sucking. I already rotated these forward as far as I could until the master cylinders and stuff started bashing into the windshield at a full turn. No, I don't plan on riding it at a full turn ever. You know, I mean, I don't think I've ever really jacked the thing over on any bike, you know, to the full steer stop while I was riding. That'd be kind of insanity. I guess if you're doing a slow U-turn or something, but I can deal with it bumping the windshield a little on a slow U-turn. That part of it kind of stinks. All in all, you know, the plastics are in decent condition. The pockets are all in decent condition. I'm gonna have to replace the seals, it looks like, at least to me it looks like, on the saddlebags and stuff. I don't know that I would really trust those in a downpour with a bunch of shit that I wanted to keep dry. So I'm gonna do that. This windshield is absolutely no good for me. The vent is like busted. I can't even, you know, somebody has broken this thing at some point. It doesn't even open and close now. So you get like supreme wind protection behind this thing on your body, which is what they're after. I mean, I'm used to being a little more in the wind, and this is definitely a different feel. One thing I'm noticing is I'm a lot warmer. Like it's keeping me almost too warm not having any wind in my chest. And I'm hoping if there was a vent that worked or something, I can start messing with all these vents to let some air through, see if it works any better. There's still a lot of shit I gotta learn about this bike right now I'm just learning how to ride it. Yeah, as far as its windshield goes, I was looking at some two-piece windshields that kind of have a recurve. I kind of like that setup with 2 layers stacked on each other with an air gap and then a recurve. You know, it kind of throws that air up and over you. Right now, what's happening is my body is well protected, but everything that comes off this is hitting me right in the forehead. It's not causing buffeting that's like kicking my head all over the place. It's just loud. It's extremely loud at highway speeds in my helmet with this thing on. So that's kind of no bueno for long trips. I need to figure something out there. So windshield is definitely going to be one of the first things I mess with on this bike. The other thing is, I think these are probably stock original 30-year-old grips. They suck. I cannot get purchase on these. My hands are sliding all over the place, you know, especially on the throttle side. It's just not, they're not very good. So I think I'll probably throw some Kiriaka and ISO grips on there with a throttle boss on my right hand, and see if I can't make the working the accelerator just a little more comfortable. You know, I think that would help with the wrist positioning too. If you can see my hand here, I kind of have to hold it like this. So if I had a throttle boss right here with my palm sitting on it, I think I could improve the comfort of my hands quite a bit with something like that. The third thing is going to be some highway pegs, and this is not necessarily in order. I'll probably do all 3 of these in rapid succession because I want to be able to ride it in comfort. Well, let me shift down here. So some highway pegs would be really nice. I don't really mind the stock foot pegs on this. It's a little weird riding in kind of a sportier position. The Kawasaki has forward controls, and I use the Kiriaka mini boards. So having pegs kind of behind my knees, making me sit in a more, I want to say sporty. It's just sporty from like the knee down. Up here, you're all upright. This is really made to be sitting up tall and just riding in comfort, you know, riding in just a neutral kind of sitting position, not putting any strain on yourself. And it's really good there. I dig it, you know, I paid $2,300 for this pig. It's super heavy. It's kind of ugly, but it's ugly in like a charming way, if you get my drift. It's like so ugly it's pretty to me. The Goldwing's always been the dad bike. It's always been the old man bike. I'm taking it back. I'm claiming it for the youth. Not that I'm really all that youthful. I'm 43 friggin' years old. But yeah, I want to turn people on to these things. You can get a hell of a lot of bike for not very much money, you know. Just you don't have to have a ton of money to get into motorcycling. You know, people think it's this giant investment. Now, it's a big investment, but when you fall in love with it, it's totally worth that investment. It doesn't have to be a $30,000 investment. Both of my bikes are, you know, sub $5,000. You know, they are what you make them. You buy a cheap bike, you start, you know, modifying it and adding all the farkles and shit until you get something that you want, that you're happy with. This bike, I'm going to be very happy with this thing. I just know it. So, unless the engine blows up on me or something. There is a slight little tick that I'm hearing. I can't really hear it when I'm riding, you know, with the wind noise and stuff. I don't really hear anything, and the bike feels smooth. When you're just sitting there at idle, you can kind of hear a faint little ticking sound, and I don't know if it's a lifter or it almost sounds to me like maybe a tiny little leak in the exhaust. I have no idea. It is something that I should probably investigate before I go throw way too many miles on this bike, because if it's anything mechanical in the motor that can damage the motor, it would be terrible, and I don't want to just completely flush my money down the toilet. So I got to take a little time to study up on these, see if there's anything at all normal about a little bit of a ticking noise on a 33-year-old Goldwing. You know, other than that, just fit and finish things. There's little bits of plastic and stuff that you know, snap back into place a little better, and you know, pieces of rubber that could be re-glued back into place. But I'm actually shocked at how well some of the tabs, the plastic tabs and everything on this held up. That's, you know, anybody who's ever pulled a panel off of, you know, a door panel or something off of a car, you know that you're constantly breaking all the little plastic tabs. And unbelievably, these Honda bikes, these tabs have held up pretty good. I did find one broken one on the side cover on my right side. It's just 1 out of 4. I don't think it's gonna cause that panel to come flying off or anything. Fingers crossed. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the purchase. I like having all the luggage room, and you know, once I get this bike just completely tuned to where I want it, you know, dialed in for me, there's going to be some long distance touring happen on this. I'm going to make it happen. Oh, one more thing I'm not digging is, and this probably happens to all of them, this LCD screen here. It's shut. I can't see anything on it, and I'm imagining there's some information on there I'd like to see. You know, the clock's on there. I think there's things about what settings, you know, you're in on some of your different shit on, you know, that you can mess with. So I looked those up, and you can get a replacement for like $100. It's no big deal. But tearing the whole dash apart and everything to get to that shit looked like a pain in the ass. I mean, it doesn't look hard, it just looks time consuming. You know, time is a valuable thing. I don't want to waste it all tearing apart bikes. I want to be out riding bikes. If I do end up tearing that dash apart, I'm going to make sure that I've got replacement bulbs for all the lights. I'll clean everything up as good as I can. I'll replace the speakers since I'm in there. You know, just anything that needs, you know, that could possibly need replaced at any point on there, I should go ahead and replace if I tear that open. I mean, that just seems like a no-brainer. Since I just bought it and I don't know really much of the history about the bike, I should probably check all the fluids, give it an oil change. You know, it's over 80,000 miles. I don't know if the timing belt has ever been replaced on this thing. They say that the timing belts are good for 100,000 miles, I believe. And it's getting close. 100,000 miles on a bike that's steadily ridden and steadily maintained, and you've done all the services and everything, like, no big deal. You know, you replace the belt at that interval. When I have no idea who wrote this and how they wrote it, and really any of the history of it, I think we're close enough to just assume that, what's up, buddy? Just assume that it needs replaced. So at some point I'm gonna have to tear into that and replace the timing belt as well. So there's a few things that need done. Oh man, don't start raining on me. I hope this is just a little drizzle and it stops. A few things that need done, but all in all, I am really, really happy with this thing. I could go, you know, fuck it and just ride the thing till it dies, and it'd probably last a really, really, really long time, and, you know, make all kinds of smoke and all kinds of noise and just keep riding until it dies, and it'd still be money well spent if I'm having fun on it. But at first I thought maybe I'll get it and just go out, fuck around on it, thrash the thing, who cares? But now I'm kind of leaning the other way. I'm thinking, wait a minute, what if I take this 1988 and make it into the nicest 1988 Goldwing you have ever seen on the streets since they were brand new back in the days when I was 10 years old, not knowing anything about life yet, just dreaming one day that I'd have a GL 1500 to go on long old man cruises with my old man friends and my old lady wife. Who knows? I think I'm gonna go ahead and put all the farkles on it I want, get it cleaned up. I think I'm gonna make it into a nice bike. Gives me something to do. Anyway, riding home from the beach now, and I think I'm going to sign off on this video. You know, after I learn a little more about the bike and start tearing into it, I'm sure we'll be filming a lot of that content to put up here. So hopefully if there's anybody out there that has any questions on how to work on one of these, we can struggle through it together. That's what I'm here for. I'll make the mistakes before you have to. If you like the video content, why don't you do me a favor? Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell, get the notifications every time I put out a new video. It helps out immensely with my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Love that you're all taking the time to watch these videos. I appreciate every single one of you. Until then, remember, if you're gonna ride, ride like an animal, even if it's on a Goldwing.